What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I'm your host, Chris Raybon. This is your NFL Week 5 waiver episode. As always, I'm joined by one of the top fantasy football rankers in the game, the odds maker, Sean Kerner. Sean, how's it going?
What's up? Had a good week 4. It was insane having literally everything go my way week 2. Then literally have nothing go my way week 3. I was just, please give me a normal week. So I had a nice solid 9-4 week 4. No promo codes to, bank off that or anything like that. But just, it was fun to just have like a good week, a solid week as opposed to like these two extremes. But enjoyed it. Had a nice week 4. How about you?
Yeah, I think I was 4-3. I was 4-2 until I decided to stupidly bet on Tyler Huntley. So yeah, usually like backup quarterbacks in their first starts, they've been actually doing pretty well, but he was just, oh my God.
Yeah, that was bad.
Dolphins team looks terrible. It's like all that speed, all that talent, all those brains on offense, and can't manufacture anything. It's disgusting.
Got to get Tyreek out of there. I love the idea of sending him to the Chiefs, back to the Chiefs.
Oh man, that would pouring out
it makes
for
sense.
Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
Although maybe I don't know if it's confirmed that he's out for the season. I think he's getting a second opinion.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so far like no news is sort of good news. Like they haven't confirmed a tear or anything, but like still he's going to be out a while. Devastating injury, like brutal how it happened, but I just like I can't stand we're losing Tyreek in this dysfunctional offense right now. So hopefully Tua can return and stay healthy too, but I hate watching this Dolphins offense right now.
Yeah, let's not talk about that anymore. We'll jump right into our waiver targets. We'll go every position, streamers as well. Before we do, just want to quickly remind everyone our fantasy football content is available right now over on FantasyLabs.com. You can find all our award-winning rankings, projections, and more. FantasyLabs.com. All right, let's start with QB. Who do you like on waivers in week number 5 already? We're already like a quarter through.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Let's go with Geno Smith again this week. Still available in 55% of leagues. I'm not sure why people didn't stream him last week. But, he had a massive 395-yard passing game against the Lions. He should have more of a leading, run-heavy game script this week against the Giants, but should still be very productive. The Giants ranked 24th in pass defense DVOA. The Seahawks have the 6th highest team total to open the week. So I think he's still, a solid bet for top 10 production here. Plus, it's worth mentioning he's rushed for over 30 yards now for the second time in 4 games. So it's nice when he's tapping into that rushing upside we all know he has. Plus he has, one of the best wide receiver trios in the game right now. So he's my QB8 to open the week. Solid streaming option again this week. Hopefully you just did last week and you can keep him in your lineup this week, but love him as a streaming option again this week.
Yeah, he really came through in that Detroit game, even though Seattle took the L, as he always does. I think, what is that now? 3 straight games are like over 350 or something like that against Detroit. So, But yeah, he's balling out. I got to go with Justin Fields, man. I mean, I had the Colts, and he almost made me lose that bet, even though they got up big. He's playing really well right now. He's my quarterback 6 this week, so he's a bona fide starter, still available in 66% of leagues. And, you look at last week, 312 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Week before that, 245, a touchdown and a pick. And that's not, he's still adding yardage on the ground most weeks, 3 rushing touchdowns over the past 2 weeks. So he can do it either way. He's being efficient, only 1 pick on the season. I know he had some ugly kind of fumbles and adventures in the backfield against the Colts, but more or less he's doing his thing out there, completing a high rate of passes, 71%. That's a career high for him. So I think Justin Fields at home against the Cowboys, and Micah Parsons looks like, he was on a scooter last time we checked in on that Thursday night game. He left that game. So Dallas's defense might not even be at full strength. Pittsburgh's a favorite in this game, which is crazy considering.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you wouldn't think that, right? They are at home. They got a great defense, but still, Justin Fields, home favorite. He can do it with his legs, and he's starting to be able to do it through the air too. You saw George Pickens have a big game. Freiermuth is catching balls every game too. So yeah, really like Justin Fields. Pick him up. He's probably going to start all year and be a top 10 quarterback at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, is Russell Wilson's calf injury real at this point, or is it just a convenient way for Tomlin to not have to not have to answer questions about, you know, who their starting quarterback is?
Absolutely that. I was thinking that since the first time they mentioned it. Now, I guess he really did hurt it or whatever, but it just seems so fishy that everything is like, oh, all of a sudden he got this calf injury and he can't battle for the starting job. Because I feel like when he got there, they made some assurances or something. I don't know for sure. It just felt like they kind of made some assurances to him, and that's why Tomlin was like, oh, he's a starter no matter what. And I think Tomlin tried to back out of that somehow, and the injury was a convenient excuse. But either way, Justin Fields, pick him up.
Yep.
He's a beast. Let's go to running back. A lot of running backs to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So let's start with your favorite targets, and then we'll get into. There's a bunch of names on the wire this week.
Yeah. So let's start off with Kareem Hunt. Still available in 63% of leagues. This is a backfield where it's like, God, it could go really any way until Pacheco returns, obviously, because. I said, like, Carson Steele will probably be the short-term option. That was the case last week. With Samaje Perine kind of being, the pass-catching back. Who knows how much value that's going to offer. But Kareem Hunt was a wild card. If Kareem Hunt, looked good, got sort of the lead role, he was going to be the clear pickup. And there wasn't really a way to know that for sure. But this week, that kind of put it to bed. He operated as the clear lead back. Looked good, had over 80, total yards. With Rashee Rice out now, the Chiefs are going to be even more run heavy. I would imagine Kareem Hunt's only going to see more work going forward, even in the passing game too. I don't think Perine is going to dominate that as much going forward. So I think Kareem Hunt, warrants a pretty decent fab bid this week. Maybe considering a number one waiver claim if you're desperate at running back, but I think for now, like, he's going to offer pretty solid RB2 value until Pacheco returns. So I think now that we have more clarity, I'd be more aggressive when it comes to obtaining Kareem Hunt. But he looked great last week. The stock is, his stock's way up. He's my, RB18 to open this week against a very good Saints defense. Yeah, very good. This is a tough matchup. So this might be closer to his floor right now. So very encouraged with Kareem Hunt last week and sort of his season debut there. And the other back I wanted to touch on real quick is Tyler Algier. Still available in 77% of leagues. He's already a premier handcuff, in my opinion, because if Bijan were to ever miss time, he's going to be a solid running back too. There's no doubt who the top running back is going to be if Bijan misses time. And last week, he posted 80 total yards. So he could offer potential RB3 flex value even when Bijan's healthy. It makes him just a very valuable backup. And it's worth noting that Bijan, this hamstring injury is sort of flaring up. They have the short week. So Algier could be a play this week if Bijan's limited or misses time. So he's a guy that should already be rostered in most leagues, but definitely want to stash a guy like that before he blows up, before Bijan actually misses time. So Tyler Algier is just a back that you have to make sure is rostered in most formats, just because he's going to offer, value either way the rest of the season.
Yeah, and was Bijan hurt last week? I saw him
going into the game. Yeah,
right. Yeah, because I mean, I know owners must be frustrated because it's like Arthur Smith moves on, goes to Pittsburgh, and we got the same issue with Bijan. He's not getting that full work. Well, but Algier has probably always been underrated, and if you can get 35% of the snaps to a quality number 2 back and keep your number 1 healthy, a lot of coaches are going to do that at this point. Like you see the Jets even with Brees and Braylon Allen, so it's happening all over the league. So yeah, I like Algier as well. A couple guys I'll hit on. First guy, is available in 99% of leagues. I definitely think he's worth a speculative ad, and that's Trey Sermon, because Jonathan Taylor has a quote-unquote mild high ankle sprain, but a high ankle sprain for a running back, I mean, that, and he's your star player, so I don't know how much they're going to push him. And they've been liking Sermon. I mean, Sermon's been on the field at random times. He vultured that touchdown a couple weeks ago. You know, they trust him in the red zone. So I think Sermon is a guy who probably – I think Taylor's going to miss this week. We'll see. But if he does, you're getting probably 80% of the snaps from Sermon. So I would look to him, and especially I think Kareem Hunt's still going to be the number one pickup. So if he's a little cheaper, that's better. Another guy, Rico Dowdle's still available in 57% of leagues. He should not be. We've seen the Cowboys now go more and more toward Dowdle. Scored a touchdown against the Giants on Thursday night and got his highest snap and touch share of the backfield. Zeke really was just used as a clock killing back late. That's really all he did. He's not really playing many passing downs. They're using the fullback Lipke and Dowdle a lot more now. So Dowdle, I think for the rest, he's probably going to wind up that Dallas RB1, for the season. It doesn't look like Dalvin Cook's going to be a factor either. So I think Dowdle's a guy to trust. Zeke is trending the wrong way. And a couple other guys I'll mention, Roschon Johnson's available in 87% of leagues. I know Swift had the big game, but Johnson did take over the goal line role from Khalil Herbert. Now, Swift played really well, so maybe they use him at the goal line too. But Johnson, that was kind of something they talked about doing, and it came to fruition. And Johnson's also playing a decent amount of the pass down snaps, about 40%. So in this Chicago team, they might go a little run heavier. That seemed to work for them last week. So I think Johnson's worth a speculative ad. We've seen Swift kind of be up and down. And then Alexander Madison, he's another one just going off coach speak, so you never know with him. But he's available in about 70% of leagues. And Zamir White's really struggled. Low yards per carry, has had a fumble or two. And this week, Antonio Pierce was saying, Madison has earned more touches and he's going to get them this week. So who knows what that means. But, if he's cheap, you might as well pick him up, stash him on your bench, because you can never have enough running backs. I mean, it seems like guys are mostly healthy at running back, but all it takes is 1 week and everything's going to go sideways. So, load up on these guys, even if you feel like maybe you don't need them or they're not like the sexiest. Just stash as many running backs on the roster as you can.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game, baby. And I wonder, like Trey Sermon, I'm with you. I think Jonathan Taylor sits this week. I don't see how he plays. This could be a multi-week deal with him. I wonder if that kind of keeps the bids for Sermon a bit lower than they should be this week. Because, I think Jonathan Taylor is technically questionable, but I love Sermon as a couple week rental. Because like I said, heading into the season, he could be like bizarro Zach Moss.
Yes.
He and Zach Moss were both drafted in the third round. Didn't pan out with their former teams, but they're in a very friendly environment here under Shane Steichen. Like, this is a good offense, and Moss blew up in this last year, and Moss is he's almost exactly a year older than Trey Sermon. It's actually uncanny. I think Trey Sermon's gonna ball out this week. He's like a borderline RB2 for me if Taylor misses, and I just think that you definitely want to put a bid out there this week, but you might not have to be as aggressive as I think, because there's still some doubt if Taylor will miss. But I'm all about trying to add Trey Sermon where I can this week.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is friendly for everyone but Anthony Richardson, because he goes out of the game hurt, comes back in, and gets like a read option first play call, bang, out again. I mean, that
just can't stay healthy.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback get knocked out of that many games, like that high a percentage of games, because he's only played like 7 or 8 career games, and he's been knocked out of 4 of them, like 4 or 5 of them. It's ridiculous.
It's not like he's tiny. He's a beast, but like someone like Josh Allen just has a way to just take hits and not get hurt. That just hasn't been Richardson's game, unfortunately. But they have a very solid backup in Joe Flacco. So, like the pass catchers in this offense, we'll get to this at some point on one of these pods today. But everyone gets a boost if Joe Flacco takes over this week. But yeah, just Anthony Richardson. Like I wish he could learn how to slide, not take such big hits or something because he's so talented. But it's going to be tough for him to just keep getting hurt like this. He's got to figure out how to take hits where he's not just getting crushed out there.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not. I think what do you have, like one concussion, or did he have any concussions? At least it's not concussions. I think he had one.
A shoulder injury knocked him out last year, but I think maybe one of those games he got knocked out, it was a concussion.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, at least it's not like every time, like a tour type situation. That's the only positive. But, I mean, you can kind of figure out how to protect the rest of your body. The head, it's a little harder.
Yeah.
But all right, let's go to wide receiver. Who do you like?
Dontavian Wicks. I mean, he's available in 85% of leagues. That's going to plummet this week, as it should. But, not only does he get a massive boost with Jordan Love back, but he gets another boost with Christian Watson, likely out this week, potentially more. He's also really freaking good. So, however long Watson is out for, it could just solidify the case for Wicks to just be out there all the time going forward. So I'm guessing, he's going to be in the 80 to 90% routes run rate in the meantime, potentially longer. And he's just going to be, potential wide receiver 2 option if he can maintain that level of playing time. We saw that last week with 5 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns. Granted, that was just a trailing game script from the start. But, this week it's a great matchup against the Rams. I'm still projecting the Packers to throw for 250, 260 yards. So Wicks, he's a wide receiver 20 for me this week. And I think he has, long-term wide receiver 2 potential, even if Watson does return. So it's probably going to take a pretty good bid to get Wicks this week. But if you're hurting at wide receiver, I think I would do it. I'm a big believer. Yeah.
Even if you're not hurting, he's too good. I could be loaded at wide receiver, and I'm still putting a bid out on Wicks.
Well, ideally you would just have him already on your team. That would be great.
You're right.
But I have so many backup running backs, clogging my bench right now. But it sucks to load up on a guy like that, where the next 2 weeks he's going to have the most value, and if you're not playing him, that kind of sucks. But yeah, I agree. Wherever you can, you got to be adding this guy. And the other guy I'll touch on, our boy Jordan Whittington. My God, 97% of leagues still available, but we finally saw it. His playing time shot up to 97% routes run rate last week. Sure enough, he saw 8 targets. He's getting low high percentage targets, so he caught 6 of them for 62 yards. Demarcus Robinson picked up a groin injury, so Whittington's going to be a high floor wide receiver flex option in PPR formats until, Cooper Kupp and or Puka Nacua return, which could still be weeks away. So Whittington is, absolutely a wide receiver 3 option in PPR leagues right now. Very high floor guy. So he's worth scooping up as well right now.
Yeah. And, it's really nuts with these Rams. They just always find a way to get productive receivers. I mean, Tutu Atwell's back. Our guy Tutu Atwell is producing. Yes. So yeah, if he's available, I would grab him for the if you need a quick fix for the next week or two. But yeah, it looks like Atwell and Whittington are kind of separating themselves, and I'm curious to see what happens if or when Nacua and Kupp get back. Who is that third receiver? Because Robinson's been kind of You know what I mean? He seems like he's always getting upstaged by the flavor of the month, whether it's Tyler Johnson or Whittington.
He's just stretching the defense. He's doing his wind sprints thing, and opening it up for these guys over the middle. If he's out, who they have on their practice squad, they're calling up.
It's Xavier Smith has been up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like him. I've seen him in preseason, but he's not the same kind of receiver though. Different.
Too bad they don't have Lance McCutcheon anymore.
Is he floating around somewhere? Is he on a practice squad?
I thought he was on the Jets or something.
Man,
let's see.
Yeah, no, free agent.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, okay. Well, he could pop up. But yeah, for now it's Whittington and Tutu.
Definitely, and but I mean Dontavian Wicks, what Wicks reminds me of. Remember that? I think it was the first and second year Devontae Adams. He was in this glut of receivers with Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, so he didn't really stand out That's what Wicks kind of reminds me of, like his ceiling. Like I'm not saying it's a definite, but right now, people probably look at, okay, Romeo Dobbs has been, running more routes, a little more established, and then you got Jaden Reed is a baller, but and then Watson's had some big games, so people kind of probably think Wicks is like the fourth best receiver on that team. There's a chance when it's all said and done, he's the best receiver on. Like he's got the talent, he's got more size, and just for some reason they're still not playing Jaden Reed in like certain personnel groupings, which is interesting. So I wonder if that changes this week as well. I mean, it's not hurting his production at all, but the fact that Wicks just has that versatility, I'm definitely scooping him up wherever I can.
Yeah, no, Devontae Adams is a very apt comp. I don't think you're being too aggressive there at all. I see that as well.
Yeah, just the ceiling, obviously he's got a long ways to go.
Yeah,
no disrespect to Devontae. The one guy I'll mention is Wan'Dale Robinson. He's still available in 73% of leagues, and the way this Giant offense is, Dabo's kind of doing his thing. One read for Daniel Jones, get it out, and it's going to be Neighbors about 35% of the time. But another like 25% of the time, it's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. We saw that against Dallas. He had 10 catches. And I'm not saying he gets 10 catches every week, but I think that's kind of how this Giant offense is going to run. They're not really trying to involve the tight end. The running back will get looks here and there, but really it's going to go through Neighbors and then Robinson underneath, and then occasional deep shot to Darius Slayton. So I think Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy that, especially in full PPR, is going to be surprisingly productive all year long. You're always going to look up and he's going to have like 6-7 catches. Might not always be for that many yards, but he could be like a poor man's Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he is playing Seattle this week. So
nice, love these comps.
Right.
I haven't even seen, like, if Neighbors is out this week, how many projections or how many receptions did you have Wan'Dale for? Like 10?
Oh my goodness. He'd probably be, if he'd be the focal point of the defense, it'd probably go down. But
true. 10 catches for 50 yards though. But
yeah, he could definitely put up. Definitely, he's a threat for 5+, which is, you can't say that about many receivers. Yep. Speaking of receivers, tight ends haven't been doing much of that this year. I mean, which waiver wire tight end do you want to just throw a dart at?
I'll stick with Colby Parkinson, who's still available in 74% of leagues. Really nothing flashy so far, just offering consistent, stable production, which is, I guess, all you could ask for at tight end right now. He's going to be running around 80% of Stafford's dropbacks, as long as their top two pass catchers remain out, I think he's usually a good bet for 3 to 4 catches, 30 to 40 yards. So if you just need a handful of points, he's your guy. He's a good option if you have Sam Laporta or Dallas Goedert on bye this week. You just want a higher floor option. You go with Colby Parkinson. If you're, shooting for the moon, Taysom Hill is always the guy for that. Although I don't know if he's playing this week, but Parkinson's my tight end 7 right now, which is crazy to say. I have all these guys with like 3.5 receptions, where if I tweak one thing, they jump up in my top 5. But it just goes to show the tight end position remains just a dumpster fire. It's really hard to evaluate, but I think Parkinson has one of the highest floors of these like top 10 fringe guys. So I think if you're looking for a solid week 5 high floor option, he's your guy.
Yeah, or just tie your opponent 0-0 because nobody has a tight end.
Right.
I feel like Rashee Rice was like, he took one for the whole position, because if he stays healthy, Kelsey probably doesn't go off either, and it's really just
right
dire.
No, we might actually have a number 1 tight end now.
Yeah,
with Kelsey.
He's fine. He's fine, but it's still, like you said, they'll probably throw less.
Yeah.
Tucker Kraft for me, he's available in 95% of leagues. Very low floor guy, but high ceiling. We saw that last week, and he ran a route on 86% of Jordan Love's dropbacks, and they played the Rams this week. They're favorites on the road. It's a high total game, so this is another good spot for Tucker Kraft. And with Watson out, I think you're going to see more two tight ends, and Kraft was running a lot more routes. Like he's on the field for almost every snap, whereas Musgrave was more of a rotational guy. So I think that's going to continue. We've kind of seen that trending that way all year, as long as Kraft has been healthy. But 6 for 53 and a touch last week on 9 targets. He's caught multiple balls every week, which, I mean, for tight end, it's better than not. So yeah, take a flyer on him. This week should be another good spot. He is top 10 tight end for me this week. So
nice.
That's not saying much, but
right.
All right, defense, special team streamer. Who you got?
Well, I think you're gonna go with the top option. But I'm gonna go with this is a terrible week for streaming defenses. I'm gonna go with the Patriots. They're available in 95% of leagues. They're at home against the Dolphins. The Dolphins offense is a disaster right now, and the Pats are actually slight home favorites. I think they're -1 right now.
Yep.
So they probably won't allow too many points. So their defense gets a boost in formats where, you get bonus points if they hold a team below 14 points or potentially even a shutout. And Huntley took a couple of sacks. He didn't drop back that much, took a couple of sacks. If Teron Armstead's out again this week, that would certainly boost my Patriots, sack projection. Other than that, it's just going to come down to which defense gets lucky with a defensive special team score. But when it comes to the more stable things like points allowed, sacks, I think Patriots, they're a top 10 defense to open the week. Right now, they're my number 7 defense, but it's so tight right now. Things can change. So again, check my rankings later in the week. But I think you have the clear top streaming option this week.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos up against the Raiders. They're at home. The total in that game is almost as well as the Patriots. I think it's like 36.5. The Broncos are favored by 3. They're available in 94% of leagues. We saw what they did to Aaron Rodgers in that Jet offense last week, just completely stymied them, even though the Jets, I think, ended up closing like -8.5 or -9 on the spread. Just couldn't do anything, frustrated them all day. They're getting pressure. It's just a team that they're going to have to play in these low scoring games. So like you said, the stable metrics, points allowed should be there. And you're going against this Raider offense. Who knows what's going on? Devontae looks like he's still going to be out. It's a real shaky kind of situation. You got the quarterback. You might see some O'Connell. It's just a mess. Broncos at home. They have one of the better home field advantages as well. So this could be a really good spot for Denver. So yeah, like them in this super low totaled game.
Yeah.
Kicker.
All right, let's go with a rookie, Will Reichard of the Vikings, still available in 97% of leagues. Very talented rookie kicker. He was actually the all-time leading point scorer in college football history at Alabama. He's made all 6 of his field goal attempts this year, including a 58-yarder, all 14 of his extra points. But the Vikings offense has been so good, they haven't really had to settle for many field goals. So this week, they're at home. They face the Jets. Maybe the Jets defense can slow them down a bit once they get in the red zone and settle for more field goals. But either way, this is just a great spot, great environment, at home in the Dome in Minnesota. He's a top 10 kicker for me. And again, he's a very good rookie kicker. Playing for a really good team, so he could turn into more of a long-term option if you don't want to be streaming every week. But I love his upside this week at home against the Jets.
Yeah, the Vikings are just good, man. They are.
Yeah.
They're just. But yeah, the Jets should force them into some more field goals. You got to figure at some point this team slows down. Like I haven't looked at our luck rankings, but I'm guessing the Vikings are probably near the top. Like I'm guessing they're due for some regression, but they've been so good that maybe not. Who knows?
Right.
Speaking of regression, the Steelers, I mean, their offense was humming last week, but I'm going with Boswell for kicker streamer. He's available in 74% of leagues, and we saw the Cowboys they give up 5 field goals to the Giants a week ago. Pittsburgh's at home favorite, so that's ideal situation for the kickers. And I just think, I don't think the Steelers are going to have as much success as they had against the Colts. Obviously, the Colts are pretty bad defense, but I think they'll move the ball, and that should help, get Boswell into range. They are 27th in red zone conversion rate right now, so that's actually what we want, an offense that's decent at moving the ball, but not great in the red zone. So yeah, give me some Boswell. Alrighty, that's going to do it for our Week 5 waivers episode of the Fantasy Flex. Make sure to subscribe to the Fantasy Flex podcast so you don't miss an episode all season long. Check out FantasyLabs.com for all of our fantasy football content. And don't forget to use promo code FLEX40 for $40 off right now. That's FLEX40 for $40 off right now. You can find Sean on X at @_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. We're at those same handles on the free, award-winning Action Network app. Until next time, let's get this money.